Well, once again, coming to you from FEECon, and I've never been prouder to be part of the pro-freedom conspiracy than when I'm sitting by this guy, Connor Boyack, who is the president of Libertas Institute and also the president of ATKI, the Association to Teach Kids Economics, and you probably have a few other hats you're wearing, right?
Too many to name, but we'll start there, yeah. No, we're having a lot of fun making a splash and working alongside people like yourself. We're having a lot of fun doing it.
The number of young people that are in attendance here at FEECon, I was expecting it, but I really kind of underestimated just how many young people resonate with that message of liberty. Tell me about your thoughts. I know you have done a lot to introduce them to the principles of liberty, the free market principles at a very early age. Is this pretty common for what you see?
What I think is interesting is when you finally reach a young person with these ideas, in my experience, you'll often get this reaction. They've not experienced these ideas before. They're not getting them in school, and so when you finally introduce these ideas, there's a little bit of an aha, and almost like it resonates a little more strongly with them because it's so different and new. And so it's a good opportunity to say, like, here's an opportunity for you to learn about a lot of these ideas that you've never heard about before. Here's a seminar, here's a book, here's a whatever, and you can kind of lead them down the rabbit hole a little bit that way. We start with younger kids. Our Tuttle Twins books are like age 5 to 10, so obviously it's a little bit different than a teenager or a college student who has spent a lot of time being educated or schooled but hasn't really been educated in these ideas. With the younger kids, we don't really have that aha because we're getting them young enough where they're just newly being introduced to the ideas. But I think we have to hit it from all different angles, right? Otherwise, we're going to wait till these people are adults. They're very set in their ways. It becomes very harder to shift people's opinions, and it's a much more costly proposition for organizations that are trying to move the needle. Whereas if we start younger, we can kind of grow our ranks over the long term a lot better.
Well, the Tuttle Twins has been a huge success. In fact, my understanding is you just passed a pretty significant milestone recently in the number of these books that you have put out into circulation.
So, yeah, 200,000 is how many we have now, and for those who understand how this came about, that's a big number. This wasn't a master plan. This wasn't a business. This wasn't an investment with a traditional publishing house and everything else. Oprah hasn't chosen us for her monthly book club
yet,
right? So this was just this was a dad with young kids who went on Amazon a few years ago trying to find something like this for my kids. I wanted to teach my kids about the free market or property rights or these concepts, and I was poking around and couldn't find anything. And so, on the side, just said, let's create a little book, and it resonated. So we did a second and then a third. So this has very much been an organic project, kind of just grassroots effort, and word of mouth has been insanely positive. And so that's gotten us to 200,000. At the rate we're going, we'll hit 250,000 probably in a couple months and keep going from there. It's phenomenal.
So you're starting to see the snowball effect kick in?
Yeah, certainly the snowball effect. For us, we want to leverage it a little bit more. So you mentioned ATKI. This is the Association for Teaching Kids Economics, or atki.org. And the whole idea there is that we can sell directly to families one at a time. But the opportunity here is a lot bigger, at least in my opinion, where you've got millions of kids out there who aren't being taught this stuff in school. Their parents aren't familiar with these concepts themselves. And so if we can get into the classroom and provide some instructional material to the teacher, provide some books for the kids, suddenly we're going to be having a much broader reach than we are right now, or that we would if we just wait for families to buy them on their own. And so that's something that we're starting to do now, where around each of our books we're building lesson plans so the teachers can talk to these concepts to their students. We provide free books to the students so they can take them home and continue to read them. And that market penetration is important, because I don't want to just talk to the echo chamber, the families who are already kind of like-minded. I want to grow our ranks. I want to aggressively get these ideas out there and plant a lot of seeds. I want to be Johnny Appleseed, just going around like throwing seeds out there and seeing what grows. That's what I think our movement needs over the long term.
Connor, one of the things that you have absolutely been a pioneer in doing is taking those essential principles and practices of liberty and free market economics and not just giving the principles. I mean, it's one thing, okay, here they are, here all on a piece of paper, but to actually put them into practice or to put them into an easily understandable or assimilatable, if that's a word, form, you've done a really good job of this. And it doesn't just reach the kids, by association. It seems like their families benefit.
So that's actually an accident, a very happy accident. When we started this, we thought we'll just do children's books and it'll be great. And that's great. It's going well. We're educating a ton of kids. The happy accident, is that what we're doing is we're providing a parent a bonding opportunity to read these books along with their kids, and we're educating the parent at the same time. These parents never would have picked up, Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt, but they'll read our children's book based on it and learn the same key ideas and maybe get intrigued enough that at the end of our book we say, hey, our book is based on Economics in One Lesson. Here's where you can go learn more about it. And now they're kind of hooked and they'll go learn more. And so we're basically creating this big marketing funnel where, we're reaching these kids, but we're reaching the older siblings and the adults, and the audience ends up being far broader than just the kid that we were targeting at the beginning. As I say, that wasn't a strategic plan or anything, but it's very much happening with so many of these families that we reach. They've not heard of these original books or ideas. They just heard from a fellow mom in one of their little, mommy gatherings, community, homeschool, whatever. And on that recommendation, they'll buy the books for their kids, and they'll get educated at the same time. So it's been really awesome.
What's the wisdom of teaching kids starting very young, like you mentioned, age 5, versus trying to re-educate or reteach adults who've been learning something wrong most of their lives?
The analogy that I usually use is that imagine an orchard, and you have the manager in there taking care of everything, and he's got a bunch of decaying, diseased trees, and he's trying to fertilize, restore them to good health. These are aged trees that are set in their ways and diseased or what have you. Anyone who's managing an orchard over the long term is going to be obviously trying to restore the older trees to good health. We absolutely need that. But if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're also making sure that you're planting saplings the right way at the beginning, caring for them properly so that they're going to grow into a mature, healthy tree that you don't have to worry about like you've had to worry about these diseased, decaying trees. So I think that analogy fits really well for where we're at. There's a lot of organizations trying to fertilize adults with the ideas of liberty, but it's really hard to reclaim a sick tree. Very hard, takes a long time, you're often not successful. We need to be making sure that we're watching those saplings, caring for them the right way. Too few people in our movement have been focused on that, so that's what we're trying to do.
Okay, I know you have a lot of different organizations, but my final question is, where can people go to get more information about Libertas, about ATKE, or any of the other great things that you're involved in?
Thanks, Brian. So ATKE is just atke.org, ATKE.org, or you can go to TuttleTwins.com to learn more about the books. We're here at FEECon right now, so if anyone listening wants to grab our books, we're actually doing a coupon code. Use the coupon FEECon, one word, and you get half off the books. And so if you want to Google me, Connor Boyack, or Libertas Institute, we didn't talk about that, but we're definitely engaged in changing laws and actually making a difference. So just Google my name. You can learn a little bit more about what we're up to, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions or anything.
I will confess, too, that Connor and I host the Society in the State podcast, and you may find that worth your while as well.
SocietyInTheState.com, right?
Okay, Connor Boyack, thanks for visiting with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Brian.
We'll be back with more in just a